Welcome back to Brap. It is Wednesday, January the 10th, and this is the first official Brap, I should say first regular scheduled Brap for the new year 2024. Last week I did do a couple Brap rants. We did not have our regular Wednesday night Brap, so this is the first one of 2024. So welcome everyone. As always, want to say thank you for stopping by and hanging out with us this evening. The rest of the panel will be joining us here shortly. We will be down. Game Logic, aka the Oracle, aka the Architect, will not be joining us tonight, but Slow-Mo, B-Money, and Gaming Forte should be here shortly. But do me a quick favor. If you could retweet the link, I just dropped the link in the live chat. If you'd be so kind to retweet the link on Twitter, on X, or whatever it's called, or whatever social media platform you partake in, please share the link. And also, if you could do me a favor, hit the like button. We have 5 likes. We have more than 5 people here watching. Please hit the like button. Helps out the channel. And if you're new, consider subscribing and hitting the bell notifications so you're alerted when we go live. So see a lot of dialogue here in the live chat already. Just as a reminder, we don't do the console war stuff here. Please be respectful. We encourage healthy dialogue, discourse, debate. But we don't do the console war stuff. So you've been warned. We don't do that here. There's other channels that promote that. We're not that kind of channel. We provide a more nuanced conversation as it relates to video games, something you don't find in many podcasts or gaming-centric podcast channels. We provide analysis based on data points, trends that we're seeing that are being reported in the video game industry, and we also offer our own opinions on things that we see or read as it relates to those trends or other news items as well. So that's Brap in a nutshell. Again, we do welcome everyone here, but we just don't do the whole console war stuff. So just want to warn everyone. So you've been warned, but welcome everyone. Thank you again. So definitely a lot to talk about. There is a lot of new CES is going on right now. The Dice Awards have been... The DICE nominees have been revealed, so we'll talk about that as well. And DICE is a great award show to follow, by the way. There's a lot of focus on the Keeleys, the Game Awards. A lot of people, I should say a lot of people. There are some people that every year get upset with the nominees of the award show, feel like maybe the media shouldn't have any say in this award show. I've even read some people on Twitter who were tweeting out that they want an award show that is where the games are nominated by the developers in the industry. And it's like, well, we have one already. It's called the Dice Awards. And unfortunately, there's a certain podcaster, I won't say his name. You could probably guess, but he's an Xbox-centric podcast. And I tell you, bless him. He's, look, he's great production values, but he's just not somebody who I would deem as a reliable source to things video game related. And he was one of those individuals that said, oh, wouldn't it be great if we had an award show where there was a governing body, a governing industry body, an award show where people in the industry, developers, nominated the games. And I'm like, yeah, it's called DICE. So it's trivial to me that people lean to this individual as some kind of subject matter expert when it comes to gaming, or hold his opinion in high regard, considering that he doesn't seem to be a student of the gaming industry and frankly just doesn't know what he's talking about many times. So you could probably guess who I'm referring to. Jeff B. Gamer says DICE is probably the least unbiased of the video game award show. Look, there's DICE, there's GDC. There are other award shows, the BAFTAs. There are other award shows that people could go to if they feel like the Keeleys, the Game Awards show, just doesn't meet their requirements for an award show. So there you have it. So we'll talk about that. We'll also discuss a little bit of CES. No, DICE is not associated with EA. DICE, you're talking about the DICE, the developer. No, this is different. This is the developer something. I forget what, I have to look up what the acronym for DICE is. But no, it's not. Yes, DICE, the developer DICE, is associated with EA, but this is not the same thing. Yeah. Yeah, the BAFTAs are coming up. Jeff B. Gaming just mentioned that. The BAFTAs are coming up here shortly. So we'll talk a little bit of CES. CES is going on right now. We'll talk about that a little bit. PlayStation, Sony has revealed some new PlayStation hardware. Well, not new hardware, but color schemes that we'll talk about for the PlayStation 5. And there was a new gaming handheld revealed at CES, which we'll talk about as well. And we'll also talk about the conversation, rumors that are going about with regards to more Xbox exclusives going to PlayStation and Nintendo. And then a big Xbox developer direct update, which I'm excited about, by the way. We're going to get some updates on some games that I know I'm looking forward to getting updates on, and games that one game in particular that I'm purchasing, which would be Hellblade 2. So we'll talk about that as well. Oh, and Capono 5150. I was thinking about you the other day, Capono, and I saw you in the live chat. What do you think about the Nvidia GPUs? The super, I call it the super line, but or the super series, I should say. What do you think about those price points? I don't think that's not too shabby. All right, so Nvidia, the GeForce RTX 40 series, Super Series, has debuted. According to Nvidia, gaming GPUs amplified with more performance and generative AI capabilities, starting at $599. Now I'm going to read this from Nvidia. CES. Nvidia today announced, this was 2 days ago at CES. Nvidia today announced the GeForce RTX 40 Super Series family GPUs, including the GeForce RTX 4080 Super, GeForce RTX 4070 Ti Super, GeForce RTX 4070 Super, which supercharge the latest games and form the core of AI power PCs. Capote says 4070 Ti goes from 12 gigabytes of VRAM to 16 gigabytes of VRAM. This card matches the 3090 in the gaming benchmarks. 4080 Super is 5% faster than the current 4080, same VRAM amount. So let's get to the price points here with these cards. And, Capono, I wasn't really considering upgrading my GPU. That's just something that really wasn't on the table for me. But I don't know. These price points, this could be something. This could be something that I could get behind. All right, so the GeForce RTX 4080 Super powers fully ray traced games in 4K resolution at 1.4. It's basically almost 2 times faster, 1.5 times faster than GeForce RTX 3080 Ti. And the 4080 Super features more cores and faster memory for a performance edge. I'm reading this off the Nvidia site, by the way. It will be available January 31st from $999, so $1,000 US dollars. Now, the GeForce RTX 4070 Ti Super has more cores, an increased frame rate buffer to 16 gigabits, a 256-bit memory bus, and it's going to retail for $800. Now, the GeForce RTX 4070 Super arrives with 20% more cores in the RTX 4070, making it faster than the RTX 3090 at a fraction of the power. With DLSS 3, its lead stresses to 1.5 times faster. It will be available starting January 17th at $600. Now, that 4070 Super component looks enticing to me. Now, I don't game in 4K because I have a 1440p monitor component, but the TI $800. I mean, you're not wrong. You got a 4K see fresh GPU talk. Hey, we got to cover this. This is where Warwana says, yeah, I think I will go up to a 4070 60 gigabyte next. Yeah, the 4070 Ti is great for 1440p. But even the Super grabbed my attention at $600. But for, $200 more, you're going to get the Ti. Yeah, that's kind of, yeah. I mean, it's yeah, no, Capote, that's a great point. Capote says it covers you for when you get a 4K monitor. Where's the thing, Capote? I have my PC hooked up to my 1440p monitor, and then I also have it hooked up simultaneously to my LG C1 OLED. Okay. And how long will you look, Shadow Spade? We love PC gaming here. And this is gaming related news. Component says 16 gigabytes is really the min number VRAM someone should go. Yeah, so I mean both cards are enticing to me. Now, of course, whether or not I'll pull the trigger is a different story, but both cards are definitely intriguing to me. So that's the latest and greatest from Nvidia and their Super Series GPUs being revealed at CES. Oh, shout out to me. We'll be wrapping up the GPU conversation here in just a second. Player says, "Hey, new GPU launch. Let us PC gamers celebrate new Nvidia GPUs." Yeah, that's the thing, Capoto. The issue that the thing that I'm struggling with here is whether or not I'm going to need a new case. Now, Nate had mentioned to me on DM that we could measure my case out and see if I would need a new case. But I'm thinking I have a 3070 in my PC right now. I'm thinking I may need a new case. I think that's the only issue. And that I would just have to move all my parts to the new case. So. All right. Any PC gamers other than myself, Capono, player, and Warwana, are you thinking about maybe upgrading to the 40 series supercards? Oh, the 4070 small? Okay. Yeah, if you have to measure, yeah. No, I hear you, Warwana. I mean, that's a fair point. Craig the Tech Guy says, I might go 4070 if it goes on sale. All right, so let's get to some other CES news. That's one of the news items coming out of CES. We also have MSI entering the PC handheld gaming space with the reveal of their new portable device called the MSI Claw. So this device looks very similar to, at least to me, to the Steam Deck, to the Asus ROG Ally, to Lenovo Legion Go. And the MSI Claw is powered by Intel Core Ultra 5 or 7 processors. So there's two different SKUs, variations of the Claw that you can get. With Intel Arc graphics, the latest Meteor Lake chip technology, 16 gigabytes of RAM, a 7-inch 1920 by 1080 pixel P 120 hertz IPS display. One model comes with 512 gigabytes. The other comes with 1 terabyte of storage. Comes with Wi-Fi 7, Bluetooth 5.4. There's also a Thunderbolt 4 USB-C port, a micro SD card slot, and a power button with a fingerprint reader. Now, I was reading an article by CNET. I'm going to credit Scott Stein here, who reports that prices are starting at $700 for the Core Ultra 5 and the 112 gigabyte solid state drive, and go up $50 for a Core 7 Ultra, and then another $50 for an Ultra 7 with the 1 terabyte SSD. And the release window is February or March of this year. The device will also run Windows 11 And there's a 53 watt hour battery on board with battery life at full performance mode estimated to be around 2 hours. And the handheld weighs nearly 1.5 pounds. Now, someone from CNET did play it. Actually, it's his Scott's colleague, David Katzenmeyer, actually had some hands-on time with it. And here's what he had said. He said that the Claw felt solid to play, although the main triggers and analog sticks didn't have quite the same level of heft as something like a PlayStation 5 controller. And he goes on to say, I didn't love the shoulder trigger ridges. The large LCD screen was bright and clear, but obviously not as bright as an OLED. Despite the console size, it didn't feel overly bulky to me. Like any handheld console, however, I could see it becoming a heavy lift during a longer gaming session. I played only a few minutes of one game, Assassin's Creed Mirage. The graphics looked sharp and gameplay was mostly smooth. At one point, after some extended running through town, it got choppy and stuttered a few times. But when I stopped running, it became smooth again. David also mentioned the MSI reps said that the company was still tweaking the unit software. So what's interesting is what's interesting about the Claw. The Claw is really joining the Claw. I should say not the Claw is joining, but Intel is actually joining the line of handheld PC devices with their chips. So now I don't know, like the previous other handhelds, this isn't probably something for me. Probably isn't something that I would pick up. But I think just as a gamer, I think it's cool that we're seeing more entries into the PC portable space. And the reason why this kind of device isn't for me is I just don't see myself using it a lot. Now maybe if the price point was a little cheaper, maybe I would pick one up. I tell you what, I'd be playing a lot of Baldur's Gate 3 on it. Which, by the way, I just rolled credits again on Baldur's Gate 3. What an amazing game, by the way. 50 hours in. What an amazing game. No, Mooch is not going to be on this podcast tonight. And by the way, just a reminder, Mooch's show, Crossfire, will be live tomorrow night at 7 p.m. He did move the show from Fridays to Thursdays. Now, I may or may not be on the show. My schedule is a little tight there on Thursday nights. But I believe Warrior will be joining him on a regular basis as a co-host. But I'll be there when I can. All right, so that's news on the MSI Claw. And if you see pictures, it does look very similar to the ASUS ROG Ally. Again, just not something that I would probably pick up. I just don't see myself utilizing a handheld much. Dark Lord says, "Oh, that sucks. I really like your pick." I mean, look, my schedule will change. My son's playing basketball right now, and so he has practice on Thursday nights. So that will change after basketball. My schedule will change a bit after basketball season's over. So I may be on more, but at the very least, I'm going to try to make it on Crossfire at least the second hour of the show, 8 o'clock. Corey Mass says, all these new handhelds making the Portal look better and better. I mean, different devices though, Corey. I mean, you're talking about a basically a handheld PC device with much more horsepower that's geared towards a different addressable market. So I don't necessarily agree that it's making the Portal look better. I mean, they're not really apples to apples comparison, and target different markets, different consumers. You know, these portable devices are going to be for consumers who want, you know, a more high end, you know, PC portable experience. Love the PC talk that's going on in the live chat right now. What's up, Melrose Mike? All right, let me retweet. Let everyone know we're live. All right. Jace says the audio cutting in and out, or is it me? I don't know. Maybe it might just be you. I don't know. Everyone in the live chat, if you guys can hear me, okay, just let me know. Bender Strings, Alabama. Yeah, I wasn't talking at the moment. I wasn't talking, Capono. I was reading an article here. Better she says, good riddance to Nick Saban. Oh man, not Nick Saban. Yeah, that was another big news story coming out of college football today. That it's apparently Nick Saban will be stepping down as head coach of the Alabama Crimson Tide after 7 national championships. By the way, what a great run as a coach. Dark Lord says, well, that's good. I'm glad people are paying attention to my tweets then. All right. Did everyone see the new PlayStation 5 colors at CES? I got to say, they look. I think they look pretty good. The silver ones, the silver one is kind of reminds me a little bit of the original PlayStation. A little more pop to it, though. But I got to say, the blue and red PlayStation 5 Slims would look pretty good. I like the blue one. So Sony has added 3 new color SKUs to the new PlayStation 5 Slim, which just came out. I should say the new templates, I should say. So these new templates are going to start at $54.99 when they go on sale. And so and unlike the standard PlayStation 5, they don't have that like glossy matte split between the top and bottom plates, which I don't care for. But I gotta say, I like the plates that they're off, the different color schemes for the plates that they're coming out with. This, you know, the red and blue are the ones that pop, are the ones that I think are the most appealing to me. And at least in the pictures from CES, there seems to be a little bit of a reflection, and that could be the lighting, based of you know the show floor lighting that's there at CES, in combination with the vertical stand. So I gotta say, I really do like these plates and the controllers as well. No, I have not upgraded my I have not traded in my launch day PlayStation 5 for a PS5 Slim. I probably won't do that. Yeah, Jeppy Gaming says the blue color's kind of hitting. Yeah, oh yeah, and Better Strings. Pete Carroll, you're right. Pete Carroll is stepping down as well. Jeppy Gaming says the blue color kind of hitting. Yeah, I really like the blue color. That's probably my favorite of the three. I would say for me it's blue, red, and then the silver. Now the red doesn't look like what was the red color that it was a cosmic red? It didn't. I don't really think it looks. I didn't really associate cosmic red with red, but this one looks more red. I don't know. I'm looking at the pictures right now. It looks pretty good to me. I like these plates. They have a picture, and I'm reading the article from The Verge. Verge has a picture of the red one where it's zoomed into the bottom with you can see the base stand. They're good looking plates. I'd like for Sony to re-release those Spider-Man plates. I missed out on those. Those were sold out. I wasn't one of the lucky ones who got the Spider-Man 2 plate. I think Jeff see some chatter in the live chat about the PlayStation Portal. Jeppy Gaming. Yeah, I think the remote play devices for that price point's not bad. When Corey Mess says, you remember, you don't need a PS5 good internet, but I remember people saying $200 is too expensive for a remote play device. Yeah, I can understand the remote play device not being for some people, but let's remember that the PlayStation DualSense Edge at $200 was like the top selling accessory for most of the year that it came out, that it was released. So when seeing that the PlayStation Portal sold out didn't really surprise me. Players I'd rather put that money towards upgrading my PC. Well, yeah, that's fair, player. It just means you're not the target market for the PlayStation Portal. You're not the addressable market for that device. Yeah, what I agree. They're just different devices, and they're geared towards different markets, different addressable markets. Different consumers. By the way, guys, I'm gonna get a chance to talk about this, but I know this is a gaming podcast. We don't typically discuss sports. Well, we do sometimes, but I got to say, it's good to see the Commanders move on in their search for a new coach and a new general manager. As a fan, I hope they stick to Lanny this time. I really do. Dark Low says, I wish Microsoft would do the theme consoles again. I do too. My favorite of the theme consoles was during the 360 generation. Do you remember the Star Wars R2-D2 Xbox 360 console? To me, that is the GOAT of like theme consoles. That was an amazing theme console. I mean, they are doing the wraps right now. I know they have the Starfield wrap. I think those are pretty cool for the Series X. I like those. But yeah, but nothing beats that, at least for me, nothing beats that R2-D2 Xbox 360 console. So we do have some more Nintendo Switch 2 rumors. I meant to mention that when we start the show. But this is according, and I did dread going to Kotaku, by the way, but I did see this come across my timeline today. Kotaku is reporting that Switch 2 rumors swirl as major Nintendo games go out of stock. Super Mario Odyssey and more first-party games are disappearing from online stores. So this is according to Kotaku. And there was another news item that I saw come across my timeline, and I thought I bookmarked it, but I guess I didn't. But there is a report coming out of Taiwan. Oh, here we go. I found it. Okay. No, this is something I discussed last week. Never mind. This is, okay. I'm sorry about that. This is something I already discussed last week, where this was reported by GameIndustry.biz. Kantan Games analyst Dr. Serkanto believes that the Nintendo Switch 2 will arrive at some point this year, will retail at $400. So that's something we discussed. But this Kotaku article is new, where they're speculating here that... And actually, I'm sorry, there was another article that came out that, and this was coming out of Taiwan, and this was on a Reddit forum where this individual, this article, I think this is written in Taiwanese. So, but the summary of the story is that the Switch 2 will have a hardware upgrade that will include Nvidia's Teeth 2239 processor, 8 gigabytes of RAM, 64 gigabytes of storage, and a greatly improved battery life, and a screen refresh rate of 120 hertz, and a retail at $400. Now, again, this hasn't been corroborated. These are rumors that are coming out about the Nintendo Switch. And then, as I mentioned too, the Kotaku article speculating that as we see some Nintendo first-party games disappearing from retail, that could be a sign that we may get some kind of announcement soon. Now, there's been a lot of rumor speculation about when Nintendo might release a Switch 2. There was articles earlier this year, if you remember, where they said that where they would speculate that Nintendo may release a Switch 2 towards the latter part of the year, like summer of this year. So it's going to be interesting. I mean, to see, when we hear something. I know Jeff Grubb had speculated that there could be some kind of Nintendo event coming up at some point. Again, he's not saying it's definitely going to happen. It's speculation on his part. I think he clarified that today on Twitter, or yesterday on Twitter. But I said this a couple shows ago. Like, I just think we're at a point now where I think the Nintendo Switch definitely comes, because we're at that part. We're 7 years into the Nintendo's life cycle. Nintendo Switch. We're starting to see the declines in hardware. If you look at the year-over-year numbers, where the Nintendo Switch is trending negative now, That's because I hit that point where so many people have bought the Switch that they're just selling less now. Dark Lewis says, I want Luigi's Mansion. Yeah, so I think it's just a matter of, I think we're going to hear about the Nintendo Switch 2 this year. I think it releases this year. The $400 price point, if this is true, wouldn't surprise me. And then there was that rumor of Nintendo releasing games at $70 with this new iteration of the Switch. So that's going to be interesting. I had this conversation with Gaming Forte, where today I actually spoke to Forte quite a bit this morning. And I said to him, I don't know how I feel about $70 Switch games. I don't know if that's something that I want. Well, I shouldn't say if that's something I want, because I did pay $70 for for Tears of the Kingdom. But like, I don't know if I could see myself paying, let's say, $70 for like Mario Kart. I don't know. Yeah, Josh, Zelda was $70, and I did pay for Zelda, $70 for Zelda. But look, I think the market sent the consumer market sent a loud signal to Nintendo that they'll buy their games at $70 when they released Tears of the Kingdom. And that game has sold very well for the Nintendo Switch. If X says they will 100% be $70. Kirby Mario Kart, Pokemon will be $70, yeah. Yeah, Corey Bass says, I don't think that people are going to have a choice about $70 Switch games. $70 is a new price point for games. Yeah, I don't disagree, Corey. I think people are going to just buy those games. Priscilla says it's easier to buy V-Bucks and Roblox than $70 games. Will be interesting. Yeah, I think the Nintendo, I think the consumer base that consumes Nintendo is going to buy a lot of $70 games, or they're going to be okay paying $70 for Nintendo games. Like Jay says, if they want it, they'll pay it. Yeah, that's true of any consumer product. Yeah, Game Logic and I had this conversation about pricing, and it's funny. He's like, we were saying, like, we're often surprised by when people say things that he had mentioned something someone said on Twitter about Sony increasing the price of either games or their consoles. I forget what it was, but it had to do with how companies typically increase price. A lot of it's supply and demand. Brap, where's the crew? I don't know where the crew is. And Forte said he was going to be here. I have no idea where the rest of the crew is. Slow-Mo is playing the finals right now. I think B-Money's playing Marvel Spider-Man 2. Yeah, I don't know. Forte may have fallen asleep. I'm going to... Game Logic is actually not... He will not be on tonight. I'm going to text Forte, because Forte did say he was going to be on. I spoke to him earlier. I just sent Forte a message. But we talked about how pricing for consumer goods isn't necessarily, isn't like, and I thought Logic brought up this great point. I kind of chuckled when he said this, but pricing isn't consumer pricing isn't created in this vacuum. And that's something, well, actually, there's a Logic's words, Ben, and I agree with him. I mean, like, yeah, I mean, there are things that go behind pricing, supply and demand. Often companies will pass on increased cost of manufacturing goods to the consumers. They'll do that. And look, and if that increased price to consumers doesn't work to a point where companies see a decline in sales, they'll change course. But, you know, I'll say this about the Nintendo Switch, too. Given the success of the Nintendo Switch, I fully expect this thing to sell gangbusters when it releases. Gangbusters. Someone made a comment about inflation. I'm trying to pull this up here. Vex says maybe more niche games like Pikmin stay 60 or 50. I mean, maybe smaller titles. We see that on other hardware platforms where you have indies and AA games that are cheaper than AAA games. PlayStation says it was Take-Two and Activision first at $70 games. Yes, that's true. It was them, and then EA after that, and then PlayStation. Dark Lord Adlu says, "What happens if Grand Theft Auto 6 comes out and they want $100 for it?" Well, then you have a decision to make, Dark Lord. You either buy or don't buy. Look, and I'm not advocating for increased prices. I know people say, "Oh, Brap, you just want to feed these greedy corporations money." Look, I understand the relationship between consumer and company. I understand the motivation behind corporations. They don't necessarily care about Brap the gamer per se. And as Eric Jackson used to say on Brap, their job is to remove you from your wallet. I understand that relationship. I have no misconceptions about the motivations of corporations. I just don't. Now, that's not to say that I'm excusing bad corporate behavior, but I understand the relationship as a consumer that I have with corporations and the products they release. At the end of the day, I have a choice to either buy or don't buy. And look, I'm not advocating for $100, games. I don't want to see that. But I've read enough about the rising cost of AAA game development to understand that could be a reality at some point. And I said this on the last Brap rant that we had last week when, there was a lot of conversation around the sustainability of AAA games by the PlayStation. The stolen documents from Insomniac that showed Sony discussing the sustainability of AAA games and maybe increasing the cost to $80, $90, $100. There's a reason for those conversations. And look, I totally understand that people don't look at the macro behind pricing. They see $60. They see what they paid last console generation, where a game cost $60. And now they're paying $70. They look at the relative pricing. I understand that. I understand that majority of consumers don't look at it from that lens, or look at pricing from that lens. I get that. I understand that. But there's some economic realities that are behind that conversation of sustainability with AAA games and the need to increase the price of AAA games. And as I said this on the last last week's Brap rant where we were discussing the comments by former PlayStation boss Sean Layden, where a lot of people were using his particular comments on AAA game will not be sustainable. What he was saying is that it's not sustainable in the sense that because the cost of development of AAA games has gone up, but the retail price of AAA games has remained static. PlayPlay says $350 million for Spider-Man is insane from those leaks. It's a lot of money. Certainly, it's a lot of money. Cyberpunk 2077 was at that $315 million mark. Player. Halo Infinite was at $500 million. It is rumored that Grand Theft Auto 6 is closing $1 billion.
And guess what? They're gonna make all their money back.
What's up, Forte? Hey, Forte. By the way, the fans were asking about you.
Oh man! Well, first of all, shout out to the fans. Shout out to being Victor, go Blue. Shout out to us breaking Ohio State and then also breaking Alabama.
Yeah.
Shout out to us breaking Alabama too with Nick Saban retiring today.
Oh, I love it.
He did not retire because of Michigan. Stop.
We broke. And listen, let me have what I want.
Let us have his flowers, man.
Let him live in his own reality is what he's saying.
Listen. I know we didn't officially break Nick Saban. Nick Saban was already retiring when he bought that beautiful house in Florida next to Tiger Woods last year. So he was already on the way. He was already
seven championships.
Yeah, he was already done. But listen,
did you see the graphic that said that he put more players in the NFL than he lost games?
Yes.
I saw that. Yeah,
he has an 800 and something, like 823% wins percentage. It's ridiculous.
I mean,
he only lost
29 times.
29 times. He won 205 times at Alabama. Only lost 23 games. Crazy.
Let me give you gentlemen proper introduction. By the way, it's the first. This is actually the first regular scheduled Brap of the new year. I want to welcome Slow-Mo Backslap, King KD. What's going on, Slow-Mo?
I don't feel like King KD right now, man. I'm playing the final solo, which is not the way you should be playing the finals.
Yeah. It sure isn't.
I got no help. Man. I mean, I'm doing okay. I ain't King KD though, because it's like, I killed two people and the third guy shoots me in the back dead. I'm just like, where's my teammates at? And I look in the how like when you die, it shows you like your camera switches to one of your teammates, and the dude's just like he's like shooting at the wall or something. I'm just like, are you a bot? What are you doing? Like, what is that? What is happening? And clearly, there's not bots in the game yet because it's like the game still got like 500,000 people playing it concurrently. But it's a bit frustrating. I want to get through the battle pass though, so I'm still doing it even though there's no one else to play with. But
how is the battle pass on that game? I haven't looked at it.
Kind of weak. I think it doesn't have a ton of there's a lot of grinding to get the levels, and so the stuff that you can get to is pretty cool. But they did it in a way. It's designed in a way so that like if you really want to get out of wearing the default black and yellow gear that everyone's wearing, you better spend some money.
Spend that money.
The only money I've spent so far is on the battle pass itself, and then I also bought a skin for the SMG I use for the light build. That's pretty cool because it's like when you kill someone, it prints out a receipt on their death, and then you see the little receipt hanging out, coming out the side of the gun, and you hear the whole like cash register sound. It's pretty cool. I like that. And some of the like. They don't just have a like, oh, that looks nice, like some shoes or a shirt or whatever. It's like they'll have full-on outfits that look good. And there's like, I'm looking right now, there's like a whole like boxer entire outfit that you can get at levels 24. But it's like getting to level 24 is a grind. Like I've been playing the game pretty significantly. I'm only at level 13. I mean, sorry, I'm about to get to level 13. I'm on level 12. So
that's what's up.
It's a good game and it's fun, but it's one of those games where it's to be successful, you need a lot of good teamwork. And I've maybe won like 2 games since I started playing today. I've been playing for about 2 hours. Like and only winning 2 or 3 games. It's been because all 3 players, the 2 players I've been playing with, have been focused, and we've been on the same level, and we've been actually like, even without communicating, knowing what needs to be done. And it's like, it's rare to get that, because typically what I get is dudes who can't shoot straight,
right? Or
dudes who, like, instead of reviving me, they're gonna take on 3-on-1 like a dummy. You're just like, what are you doing? You're not winning that fight, bro. Like, who do you think you are? So Player says finals have crossplay. It does have crossplay. Although I haven't. Everyone I've played with has been on PC so far. But I do know it does have crossplay with, like, you know, PlayStation, Xbox, and all that. So, you know, so for some people that means that that's a no-go for them. But no, it's a cool game. It's just playing by yourself, it can be frustrating at times. You just gotta take it as it is. Just with like, I'm gonna have trash teammates. If you just go in with that expectation, you'll probably be all right.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. That makes sense.
Yeah, I haven't played. I saw you playing it earlier, Slow-Mo. But
yeah, Jeffy Games says turrets are OP. Yes, they're very OP. Not only that, is there's a sawed-off shotgun that the light build has, but like if you go up against another person that has the light build and they have the sawed-off shotgun, it's a one-hit kill. And it's like it's kind of cheap to me, because it's like if I dodge around you, hit, like, spray you up 2 or 3 times, and you just got a little bit of health left, and then your only shot on me is to hit me with the sawed-off shotgun, I'm like, yo, right. You're trash, and that weapon shouldn't have saved you. But
nope, I agree with that.
Yeah, well, Slow-Mo, your timing's impeccable. Because I know
what we talking about.
Well, I was just ranting about the cost of development.
We talking about how we broke people.
Yeah, but we're not gonna get into that right now. I was just ranting about that.
I'm just talking.
But one of the topics I have tonight, Slow-Mo, is the Dice Awards, and we have the the Academy of Interactive,
the official awards. Yeah, the most represented and respected awards, right?
Oh man,
yeah, the Academy of Interactive Arts and Sciences 27th annual Dice Awards. Yes,
how did those go? You know, I expect so many more games that were not, you know, nominated for anything in the video game awards to be in that, right?
Yeah, I think so, Slow-Mo, and we'll talk about one of those games here in a second. But we have Spider-Man 2 is actually in the running for 9 awards. Just one ahead of Alan Wake 2.
How was that possible?
Yeah.
How did Spider-Man get all these awards? I don't understand.
Yeah, so Spider-Man has the most nominations, followed by Alan Wake 2 and Baldur's Gate 3 with 7 and Cocoon with 6. Cocoon's the indie game that came out. But let me go down I'm going to go down the list here, Slow-Mo. The nominees we'll start with the first category here. Outstanding Achievement in Animation, that Final Fantasy 16, Hi-Fi Rush, Marvel Spider-Man 2, Mortal Kombat 1, Super Mario Brothers Wonder. Outstanding Achievement Art Direction, Alan Wake 2. Guess what's after Alan Wake 2, Slow-Mo?
Yeah, I mean, well, look, art. Yeah,
I'll give you a hint. The next game after Alan Wake 2 that's nominated. The game that nobody wanted to nominate at the Video Game Awards show.
What you say? You know what? Let me turn you up, because freaking everything is blowing up in the finals. I shouldn't be on this. I apologize. I'm being a bad co-host. Let me Let me.
I'm being a bad co-host.
He's like,
I can't hear nothing y'all saying.
He's like,
it's
what?
just explosions
I can't
everywhere.
hear.
I'm just like, what?
Turn my headphones up. Turn me up.
As soon as you know what, Forte, I'll be there in a minute. Just answer him because I can't hear it. I can't hear a damn thing.
All right, Forte. So, outstanding achievement, art direction. Alan Wake 2, Hogwarts Legacy.
They actually voted for something there.
Yeah, yeah. So Hogwarts Legacy got a nomination. Marvel Spider-Man 2 is also an outstanding achievement, art direction.
Star Wars Hogwarts Legacy got 3 nominations.
Yes, that's why I say your timing's impeccable, Slobo. Starfield Jedi Survivor, Starfield, and then outstanding achievement in character, Alan Wake 2, Baldur's Gate 3. Baldur's Gate 3 Saga Anderson and Alan Wake 2. Baldur's Gate 3 has 2 characters, achievement in characters, Asterion and Karlach. I don't know about Karlach. I maybe Gale. I think definitely Asterion in Baldur's Gate 3.
A lot of people like Karlach.
I mean, I do too, but Gale's a really interesting character. I just rolled credits again on Baldur's Gate 3, and I had Gale this time, and I don't know how I missed him the first playthrough. Like, if you're playing Baldur's Gate 3, I highly recommend that you have Gale as part of your crew, your entourage. Trust me on this. But no, Karlach's good, but Gale and Asterion are probably are definitely 2 of my favorite characters. But so those 2 are nominated. Miles Morales and Marvel Spider-Man 2, Jala and Thirsty Suitors, and then we go to outstanding achievement in original music composition, Alan Wake 2, Diablo 4, Marvel Spider-Man 2, Planet of Lana, Star Wars Jedi Survivor. Outstanding achievement in audio design, Alan Wake 2, Cocoon, Hi-Fi Rush, Marvel Spider-Man 2, Star Wars Jedi Survivor. Outstanding achievement in story, Alan Wake 2, Baldur's Gate 3, Dave the Diver, Thirsty Suitors, and Venba. Outstanding technical achievement, Alan Wake 2, Spider-Man 2, Hogwarts Legacy, Slow-Mo. Nominated for outstanding technical achievement. The Finals is an outstanding technical achievement, the game you're playing right now. And Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom.
I can see that. The destruction, yeah. Like there's not too many games that's doing it like this right now.
Really? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I might have to check out the Finals in Slow-Mo. You have me intrigued.
You definitely do. When you do, just let me know. I'll join you.
I will. Forte, are you playing the Finals?
I played. I haven't jumped back in since the initial full release of it, but I will.
All right, and then action game of the year: Armored Core 6, Fires of Rubicon, Dead Space, Hi-Fi Rush, Marvel Spider-Man 2, Remnant 2. Adventure game of the year: Alan Wake 2, Cocoon, Dave the Diver, Star Wars Jedi Survivor, Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom. Family game of the year: Disney Illusion Island, Fame Farm, Hello Kitty Island Adventure. That's Forte's favorite game of the year. Midnight Girl.
It is. No.
I just took a guess, man. Super Mario Brothers Wonder, fighting game of the year. Grand Blue Fantasy Versus Rising, Mortal Kombat 1, Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl 2, Pocket Bravery, Street Fighter 6, Racing Game of the Year, F-Zero 99, Forza Motorsport, Hot Wheels Unleashed 2, Lego 2K Drive, Role-Playing Game of the Year, Baldur's Gate 3, Cyberpunk 2077, Diablo 4, Final Fantasy 16, Starfield, Sports Game of the Year, EA Sports FC 24, MLB The Show, WWE 2K23, Strategy Simulation of the Year, Against the Storm, Callboat Core, Dune Spice Wars, The Last Spell, Water Tales, Immersive Reality Technical Achievement, Asgard's Wrath 2, that's the VR game that just came out, Assassin's Creed, Nexus VR, Horizon Call of the Mountain, Vertigo 2, We Are One, Immersive Reality Game of the Year, Asgard's Wrath 2, Assassin's Creed, Nexus VR, Horizon Call of the Mountain, Vampire, The Masquerade Justice, Vertigo 2, Outstanding Achievement for an Independent Game, Cocoon, Dredge, El Paso Elsewhere, Thirsty Suitors, and Vemba. Mobile Game of the Year, Gubbins, Hello Kitty Island Adventure, Honkai Star Rail, Terra Nil, What the Car, Online Game of the Year, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3, Diablo 4, Omega Strikers, Street Fighter 6, The Finals. There you go, Slimmo, The Finals.
The Finals.
Yeah, Outstanding Achievement in Game Design, Baldur's Gate 3, Cocoon, Dave the Diver, Super Mario Brothers Wonder, The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom. Outstanding Achievement in Game Direction, Baldur's Gate 3, Cocoon, Marvel Spider-Man 2, Super Mario Brothers Wonder, Tears of the Kingdom. Game of the Year, Alan Wake 2, Baldur's Gate 3, Cocoon, Marvel Spider-Man 2, Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom. Game of the Year, very, very similar to the award show. Pretty much everything there was on the award show minus Cocoon.
Except for Resident Evil 4, because they got common sense not to put a remake in the year that we had last year.
They put Cocoon in there, which is interesting.
They put who in there, we say again?
They put Cocoon in Game of the Year.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, indie. Yeah. I haven't played it, but a lot of people who have played it said it's a very, very good indie game. So I get it. You got one game in there that's indie. At least it's a game that actually was created and released for the very first time in that year, and not, a game that's been remastered 6 times in 2 remakes or something like that. So
yeah. No, Soma, I think you said something earlier. I don't know if you said the real award show, but to me, DICE is the award show. The one that I put if I'm gonna put weight like an award show, DICE is the award show that I'll put weight on.
Yeah, I definitely see that, and I think a lot of people kind of look at the video game awards, Jeff Keighley's video game awards, as the definitive one, simply because it's the most popular. He routinely over the past maybe 3 or 4 years routinely gets over 100 million people watching his award show, and it's not really because of the awards. We all know that. It's because he's got all these reveals. He's had the Xbox Series X revealed there, Hellblade 2 for the first time revealed there. Blade this time was revealed there. There's always something exciting happening at the Jeff Keighley Video Game Awards, and it has really nothing to do with the Video Game Awards itself. Maybe the actual game of the year, but outside of that, no one else cares. And so when you have the DICE Awards that is strictly about the games and the awards, then you don't have to have, scenarios where the people who are running the award show are afraid to nominate certain games because they're afraid of angering a certain community, and they're afraid of hurting their sponsors or losing sponsors because a particular community is boycotting their award show because they nominated a game they don't like. Like, you're not going to have those kind of really politicking, nothing to do with the actual awards or the games nonsense to deal with. And so, yeah, I mean, I get why people feel like the DICE Awards is like the definitive one.
Yeah, and again, this is the award show. It's the Academy of Interactive Arts and Sciences. It's developers and professionals that work in the industry that are voting and making these nominees. But I mean, to your point, Slomo, I mean, I don't disagree that there was some apprehension by gaming media to even nominate what's it called?
Hogwarts
Legacy. We're not seeing that here though with the award show. We're not the award show with the DICE Awards. So,
yeah, I mean, look, I was playing Hogwarts, or I beat Hogwarts Legacy twice, and I was playing that a little bit earlier today, and just thinking about just like it's. You really can't count a developer out sometimes. Like that developer, Portkey Games, they've made nothing on this level before. They literally went from making very casual kind of games that didn't seem to really like push the envelope with visual fidelity and technical expertise, but even in the DICE Awards, they got nominated for I think it was like technical achievement or something like that, about how well done and the things that they were doing in Hogwarts Legacy. Probably more to do with the actual castle itself and all the different, because it's just like in Harry Potter where the paintings are talking and moving. There's suits of armor, they're fighting each other as you walk down the hallway. It's ghosts flying around. There's so much going on. Nothing is static. Everything is dynamic the way it is in the movies. And they really captured the essence and put it in the game. Like, you see that, it makes sense. But then, you see that this developer that no one even knew really or cared existed, and you see them now, you're just like, whoa, you guys are pretty good when you get the opportunity. I think that might be, people might look at Shift Up with Stellar Blade the same way later this year, because Shift Up ain't nothing but Thirst Trap, mobile games with big titty women with the trash gameplay.
Oh man,
like that's all they that's all they made, you know. But it's like now with Stellar Blade, they're trying to step it up a bit, and you see, you know, probably a vote of confidence is Sony announcing how they're, you know, a official partner of PlayStation. They're like a second party with them now. That's kind of a vote of confidence, and they, who would know how good that game really is, except for, you know, people who are actually working on it and the people who are paying for it to be published, like Sony. So yeah. I forgot what I was talking about. I just started rambling, but
no, it's you said big something, and I'm like, oh, okay. I would say characters that are more well endowed, I guess. Yeah.
You just look at any of the shift up games. They're all mobile-ish games. Yeah, I think they're probably on PC as well. I don't know. I just like when I did some research on them when I did a video on Stellar Blade when it was first revealed, and I was just like, oh, because I never seen anything they'd done, but I was just like, interesting. Okay. All the like really like one game's called Destiny Child. I really kind of feel like they were just trying to like capitalize on the particular name of an R&B group, an old R&B group with Beyonce. Another one's like Victory of the Con or something. It's just it's like, and that one like a cover shooter, but it's just like the girl's titties was like taking up 35% of the screen.
Language.
Well, I mean, I can't say titties.
No,
I can't say titties.
No, we'll get demonetized.
Titties.
Come on, man.
Look, you're good, man. Look, how they only demonetize you if you say something like within the first like 10 minutes. You've been live for how long?
I've been live for like an hour now.
So you're good. We can say titties all we want, man.
Okay. So C Fresh says he had relations with Karlach. He's referring to the relationships you can develop in Baldur's Gate 3, which they're quite a few. I did not with Karlach. My first playthroughs were Lizelle and then Shadowheart. So, but
I was I haven't finished Baldur's Gate. I'm still like in Act 1. I need to get back to it. Honestly, I'll finish it this year for certain. But I was kind of like building up something with Shadowheart. That was the one. Karlach right now is just too angry for me, so I was just like, you're cool, but you know, stay over there burning stuff up. And I feel like I still haven't got everyone that you can get in Act 1. Like, because I'll just be like, last thing I did was I got the vampire dude, and we all went to camp, and I woke up and he was trying to, you know, suck my blood, and I was just like, whoa,
he wants a taste.
I just met you.
He just wants a taste.
You're right. Yeah, I was like, I just met you, bro. Like, why? you in my personal space. Yeah. And but I think that was like the last thing I did, and that was probably like the last time I played it. I think what got me distracted was when I decided to jump on Phantom Liberty, and I ended up just basically playing Phantom Liberty for 2 months straight, just with 3 different characters and just doing everything in that. So I just completely forgot to go back to Baldur's Gate.
Yeah, I'm like 350 hours in Baldur's Gate 3. That's the most I think I've ever. Yeah, that's the most I think I've ever. And I rolled credits against Slow-Mo, and I'm like, I don't even know if I want to play anything else right now. That's how bad it is for me. Like I'm looking at other builds that I can run with. Like I'm watching videos now, and I don't do this, by the way. I typically don't watch videos for builds. I mean, I will sometimes, but like I'm trying to figure out like there's like a god build or something for Baldur's Gate 3 that's pretty. You start off as a cleric, and then you switch your subclass when you get to like level 4. I think barbarian, and yeah, it's a pretty strong build. But if you haven't picked up Gale yet, Slow-Mo, you got to pick up Gale in Act 1. He is really good to have.
Gale is describe what Gale looks like.
He's the wizard with the
Yeah,
Kinda-
was he like in a mirror or something? Or
no,
like
he
a
was
box?
he was in a teleport. The little
Yeah,
you had to pull him out.
Yeah, I got him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's a great character to have. Great character to have. But yeah, I mean, I'm like I said, I'm 300 something hours in, and I'm struggling to figure out what I want to play next. I don't really have motivation to play anything else right now, except for Baldur's Gate 3. That's pretty bad. Like
This is what I've been doing recently. I started it last night, so like I played through Crisis Core. First game I beat in 2024 is Crisis Core Reunion, and I know that came out like in late 2022.
How is that?
But this is my first time. It's actually pretty good. It's a decent remaster. I think that the cutscenes, they didn't touch the cutscenes, but they touched up and really like visually made better everything else. It runs real easy on PC. I wish the cutscenes had been redone because they don't. It's a drastic downgrade in quality on them. But outside of that, I never played on PSP, so I didn't have a prior experience with it. But combat wise, it's like a mix of Final Fantasy VII Remake and I don't know what else I can say, but it's the combat's cool. The combat's cool. Like you'll get a build that you'll roll with, and you could definitely just use that throughout the rest of the game. I got this one material called Deathblade, and I basically use that as my the foundation of my build. As I like when mobs and enemies, I was just destroying them, and then I think I had maybe not MP but the materia, I think it's mag plus. Yeah, I put that on, which like double boosted all of my magic attacks. And yeah, so I was just destroying everything. But the story's good. Zach I really enjoyed the growth of Zach over time. But the reason why I played it is because, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth comes out at the end of February. And I wanted to go through the entire series so that everything that they may show in Rebirth that's different than what the original game was. I mean, I know the original game really well. I beat Final Fantasy VII so many times, but going through Crisis Core gives you a lot of context to what the original story was. And then now, last night on the DPS channel, I started my replay through of Final Fantasy VII Remake, and I got the best mods, man. The mods are on for PC are so good. Some of them are a little, some of you guys need to go out and meet some women, man. And I don't know why. Yeah, I made some of them mods. Some of them mods is really just you shake your head and you just go, whoever made this is a desperate person.
Because I'm lonely.
Like I got I got Barrett looking like the Master Chief, and it's literally the same character model of the Master Chief in Halo Infinite, all the detail and everything. He looks great.
I saw that. I saw that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I got Cloud wearing his Advent Children outfit from the Final Fantasy Advent Children movie. I got Tifa wearing the purple dress that she wears when she goes to Corneo's mansion. I had a different outfit for Aerith, but now I got Aerith wearing Sailor Moon outfit. So she looks like Sailor Moon. It's just cool. Like they do make those changes and still play through the game. And man, Final Fantasy VII Remake is just so good. The combat is amazing. I wish Final Fantasy 16's combat was like this. The game would have been in the Game of the Year conversation if it was. No, I'm trying to play through that in the intermission before Rebirth. So, are you playing Rebirth, Enrique?
Oh yeah, I mean if there's any game that's going to get me off of Baldur's Gate 3, it's going to be Rebirth.
Yeah, and you beat Remake though, right?
I did. Yeah, I beat Final Fantasy VII Remake when that came out. I have not played Crisis Core though.
Play Crisis Core. I think you'll like it. Now, some of the dialogue, Zach is annoying, can be annoying sometimes. Some of the dialogue, like his voice actor is not. His voice actor is fine, I guess. He had to do what he had to do for the story, but like Zach's an idiot. You know, it's just like some stuff he says, and you're just like, dude, seriously, like, do you not understand what's happening? But I do like his character, and I kind of, with the way remake ended, if people are like, hey, don't spoil remake, that came out. When did that come out? 2019.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
It's been 4 years.
It's been.
And
yeah.
part 2 is about to come out in 2 months. If you don't know,
remake came out in 2020.
Ends,
Yeah, remake came out
okay,
during
3 years.
COVID.
Doesn't matter. It's well past the expiration date of spoilers, and the next one is going to come out in less than 90 days. So look, whatever. But they showed at the end Zach, like it seemed like a alternate like timeline of Zach actually surviving the attack by the Shinra army and still picking up Cloud and walking into Midgar. So I don't know how they're going to play that. If it's going to be like alternate timelines throughout Rebirth, or they converge together or something, I don't know. We'll see. But it's I can't wait for it. It's pretty exciting. But yeah, you play Crisis Core, bro.
Yeah, I might do that. I might check that out. Speaking of games that are coming out, next week is the Xbox Developer Direct. And I know we talked about this on your lunchtime. Is it lunch with slow-mo? Lunchtime with slow-mo? I forget.
Lunchtime with slow-mo.
Thank you. Lunchtime with slow-mo. We talked about the Developer Direct, and we are going to get some updates on the Indiana Jones game, which Machine Games is currently working on, and we'll get some updates on Avowed by Obsidian. Obsidian's next game. Then we're going to head to our home state of Maryland, Oxide Games, to learn more about Ara, History Untold. And then they're going to go...
That game is a strategy game, right?
I think so. I'd have to look it up again.
Double check.
Yeah.
I feel like... Because I remember seeing like the initial trailer of it, but I don't remember much else about that. It is a strategy game, like I said. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yeah. There's actually, I don't know if you know this, slow-mo, but they're quite. So Oxide's located in Lutherville, Timonium, which is a in Baltimore.
Oh, Timonium.
County.
Yeah.
Which is a suburb of Baltimore City. There's actually quite a few. And that's where ZeniMax Online Studios is located. There's actually quite a bit of
Timonium.
Yeah, there are actually quite a bit of game developers, smaller studios in that area, Timonium.
Yeah.
So
they Bethesda is if you are in the area that we live in and you want to work for a big developer, Bethesda is really kind of like the only game in town. Bethesda and the studios are under their umbrella. So ZeniMax umbrella is really the only game in town around here.
Yeah. So we'll get an update on Senua's Saga Hellblade 2 from Ninja Theory. And so look, I know we talked about this on your show earlier in the week, and I think I mentioned like it'd be cool to hear or get updates on like Indiana Jones, which is nice to see that game to get an update on that game. It's rumored that game may come out this year. So
I can see it happening.
Yeah,
because the last Machine Games game that came out, I believe, and Forte may remember this better than me, but when they did Wolfenstein, the New Colossus, I think. They announced that, and then it released like 4 months later.
Yeah, the New Colossus was really good.
Yeah, it was. Story's a little out there. Some stuff happened. I was just like, yeah, that's not realistic.
Are you talking about his pregnant wife?
Yeah. But mostly the execution. You remember the execution?
The execution.
So BJ Blazkowicz, whatever his name is, right? Yeah. BJ blowjob, yeah. BJ
Blazkowicz, man.
Whatever, yo.
It's Blazkowicz, yeah. Right?
So
even Forte got that right.
I know. I feel bad now. He gets captured, and then like Hitler's like, we're not just gonna kill him. because he's too popular. We need to make an example of him. So
I don't remember that part. Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
They decapitated him, and then his head went down like the chute.
Oh yeah, that's right. It went down.
And then the rebels caught his head at the end of the chute and put it on a fake body. Yeah. And I was like, yeah, what? And everything was good. He was fine. And I'm just like, but you're on a fake body, man. Like, how are you functioning? They just decapitate. It was out there. It was out there. Was his wife pregnant before then? Right?
She was pregnant in that game, and there's a scene with her killing someone while she's pregnant, and she ends up topless somehow. They were some very interesting scenes in that game. Very interesting scenes.
Yeah, especially with the German heavyset woman sex scene.
Yeah. In the sub or something, in the submarine.
Yeah, that was.
Well, you remember in the first one.
In my memory.
Remember BJ, the first one, not his wife at the time, and that scene with her and him, and she's on the table, and it's like, whoa.
Yeah, they machine games be they're pretty mature.
I don't expect Indiana Jones to be like that though.
Nah. I mean, you may get it like a Indiana always has his love interest, so Disney ain't gonna be allowing stuff like that, like the way Wolfenstein is, but he may have a love interest here and there. What I really care about is the game in third person perspective, not because if it's not in third person perspective, I'm not playing that. I'm gonna have a problem. I just can't. I can't play that kind of game, an action adventure game that's not in third person perspective. Can you imagine the shooting aspects? Because like Indy shoots guns and stuff. I understand that part. If it was just a straight up shooter and it wasn't Indiana Jones, but he's got a whip. Like he should be using his whip for traversal and stuff like that. And I can't see myself doing that in first person perspective. And it's Indiana Jones. It's like playing Uncharted or Tomb Raider in first person perspective. Like it's just not. No, you just can't do that. So it better be in third person perspective. If it's not, they're gonna get smoked. But
yeah, the rumor is that it is going to have both third person and first person perspective. So I mean, it's going to be interesting to see if that's true. I don't disagree with you, Slomo. Like I would prefer an action adventure game like that to be third person.
Let me actually look at. I saw something. You might be right about that.
There was something floating around there.
No, and there's something someone told me that I would know for certain, but I just want to make sure that one is something that I can actually speak on, and two, that it's not something that I'm misrepresenting what they said. So just give me a second because I'm gonna try to figure it out.
Yeah.
But no, I ain't gonna say anything. Let's just move on.
Yeah.
So, move on.
So that's what I heard. That's what I heard. Third. It's gonna go between third and first person. If it comes out 20, look, I grew up watching Indiana Jones. I'm a fan of Indiana Jones. I hope they stick the landing with this game. It's machine games, so I have.
Yeah, me too. Yeah,
I have hope. But I hope they stick the landing. I see a lot of people. Oh, this is going to be the best year for Xbox. Yeah, I think they potentially have a lot of stuff that's coming out in 2024, which is great. I just hope they stick the landing, especially with this game. And I have some.
No Redfalls. We don't want no Redfalls.
Yeah, I don't want any Redfalls. I have some. I'm not too concerned because it's machine games.
Machine games. Their real last game was they did it in conjunction with Arcane. Was Wolfenstein Youngblood. Now this was
I
also
like
in that kind
Youngblood.
of that
I know
period.
people didn't, but
I did not like Youngblood, but this was also kind of that period where they were trying to do different things because they were still an independent third party publisher and they were struggling financially. So they started to go out of their wheelhouse by making. So the Youngblood tried to be like a hybrid kind of looter, and it didn't work out. And hopefully, like I don't really knock. It's like it's kind of like how with Redfall, I don't fully knock the whole. I don't knock the studio down and just because they had one bad game. I feel the same about Machine Games. This is when you get two bad games where I started to go, okay, I can't fully trust you no more. At that point, like BioWare, too bad. Their last two games were bad. So when it comes to Dreadwolf, I'm looking at you like you're gonna have to show improve because you no longer are a sure bet anymore. And I don't think Machine Games and Redfall, and not Redfall, but Arcane Leon or Austin are in that boat yet. But so all that said, I still think Machine Games has that pedigree where they can actually nail it. I just want to actually see what they're doing because they've never made a game that was third person perspective. So there's a lot
no, they haven't, yeah.
of other things that goes into that. There's walking animations, there's motion matching, there's the way that you develop your levels have to be different. You may need to start putting in cover for cover shooting kind of stuff. You may need to put in different animations for like melee attacks and stuff. There's so much more that goes into it that I'm not like when you're doing something that's out of your wheelhouse. That's also kind of concerning. Not concerning, but more of I need to see what you're doing before I can really say for certain that you got it. You in there because it's different than say, hey, we're doing Wolfenstein 3. If you're doing Wolfenstein 3, I'm like, bet I'm there. I know what to expect. I know what I'm getting, and I like it. When you're doing Indiana Jones and it's a licensed IP and you can't write it the way that you wrote your other games, there's a lot of uncertainty there, you know?
Yeah. And for those interested, after the Direct wraps up, ZeniMax Online Studios is going to host a Elder Scrolls Online 2024 global reveal at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard, 4 p.m. Eastern Time. It's a standalone presentation where the development team is going to unveil the game's next major chapter, including the new zone storyline and some other major features coming in the game's biggest update. So that will be after the developer direct. So I'm actually looking forward to this developer direct. Really, to see Avowed. The big ones for me are Avowed, Indiana Jones, and obviously Hellblade. But I'm actually more interested in seeing Indiana Jones and Avowed.
Yeah. I think I'm probably most interested in seeing Avowed. I do want to see more of the combat of Hellblade, but the game I know outside of Indiana Jones, we probably know the least amount about Indiana Jones. But Avowed, I know it takes place in the Pillars of Eternity universe, but from what the teaser trailer looked like to when they actually showed the game, and it looked like, and there's a definitely a art change from how the teaser trailer looked to what Avowed looked like, and that it's an RPG, so it's not the visuals aren't exactly the most important thing here, but I want to know more about what Avowed is going to be about, what the systems are going to be like, what to expect combat wise and all that good stuff. And I think out of all the Xbox studios, I probably trust Obsidian the most out of all of them. So I have high expectations, but I think they can deliver on them. So I guess, yeah, I'm probably the most interested in that one because I'm probably the most interested in playing that one right now.
Yeah, no, I'm there with you. What about you, Forte? Is there what are you looking forward to out of everything they've announced they're going to show?
I mean, Pretty much the same thing that Slow Mo was kind of looking forward to. I mean, it just ultimately comes down. I just want to see. I don't have anything in particular. I just want to start seeing what the roadmap really looks like with release dates. Xbox has so many
Need
things that
those.
they have so many things that they can show off and talk about. Ever since 2018, it's just like at this point, it's like we know 2024 is going to be a good year for them if nothing gets delayed out of it. It just comes down to when are they coming? When is Hellblade coming? When Avowed is being rumored to be coming out this year. What's that looking like? On top of games that we haven't seen in a while, like Perfect Dark, and what's going on with games like that or Contraband. So I think there's a lot of stuff they could talk about. At this point, I just kind of want to know when stuff is coming. That's kind of what I'm looking forward to the most and seeing what we're going to be playing throughout this year and what's going to be that early game for the year because, traditionally for the last couple of years, there's always been a game that came out early February, late March, something that was early in the year. It could have been something small. I don't think it's going to be thinking huge. But what's that game going to be this year? So that's kind of what I'm looking forward to. Just more information on what we're actually going to be experiencing this year, and maybe some teasers of stuff that's coming out next year. But that's kind of it for me, though.
I don't think they're going to do any of that. I think when they
I don't think so either. I just want them
the
to.
4 games that they talked about, I think that's all they're going to talk about. They're going to do deep dives in those 4 games. But to your point about release dates, I think that's something that was kind of a weak point to the developer direct of last year. Kind of got overshadowed by the Hi-Fi Rush Shadow drop. So some people talked about it, but as the months went on, people didn't discuss it too much. But if you recall, Forza Motorsport didn't have a release date. I think the 3 games they showed from the developer direct of last year, only one of them had a release date. Yeah, Starfield didn't have one, and Forza Motorsport didn't have one, but I think Redfall did. And so I think you probably want to have more games. Clearly it looks like these games they're showing are going to be coming out this year, or at least attempted to come out this year. Who knows? One or two of them might get delayed out to next year. But what you want to see if it's coming out this year, it's T-minus 12 months to its release. Give us a release date. And that's one less thing that you really got to worry about, really delivering on at the June showcase. You can focus on other games at that point.
Good points.
Especially if it's coming out before the June showcase. If it's coming out between now and June, you better have a release date.
Yeah, give us a release date. Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, I agree. And I would assume that with Hellblade, we're going to get that release date at this developer direct. I would assume.
You think Hellblade's the first one to drop?
Maybe not the first one this year, but I think we'll get a release date. They gave us a date of 2024.
Yeah. But I mean, they could go the next step of summer 2020.
I hope they don't. It's like
2024.
I hope they and maybe they do that because of how they've kind of what they've done with remember the whole 12 these are all the games released in the next 12 months, and then that didn't happen.
Yeah,
maybe there's some hesitation. They want to manage expectations better. I know Phil was very upset on the XCast when he talked about their market team. They need to do a better job at communicating. So maybe
they also got to do a better job with their internal reviews.
Well, yeah. That's But look, there's cautionary tales with internal reviews. I mean, Jaffe's talked about that with his last PlayStation exclusive, Drawn to Death, where the internal reviews were well received, and then it went retail. They were kind of surprised by how it got panned by reviews.
Yeah. I saw something to the fact that the internal reviews for Hellblade 2 have it as a low 90s, and it's just like, okay, is this the same group of people that did your internal reviews for Redfall? Because if so, maybe knock off like 10 points off of that. Because they don't know what they're talking about. But I would hope that they would have improved the process on that after the Redfall debacle. But
yeah. Well, I mean,
and I also hope it really is like a low 90s rated game, because that's something that they would really need to have. Like that'd be great for something that's like, hey, look, you want, here's a great game and it's reviewed very well, and it's it's already available in Game Pass at launch. And hey, if you want to play it, here's, buy an Xbox. It's available on PC. Like that's the kind of stuff that you want, that can actually draw people into your platform. Unless you're putting it on other platforms in 2 years, who knows?
Yeah. Well, that's actually a nice transition to the last topic of the evening there, Slow-Mo. More games coming to PlayStation, more Xbox exclusives potentially coming to PlayStation. This was kind of the talking point this past weekend, the last couple of days, where reports, insiders were saying, and even Windows Central picked up on this report as well, that there could be some more Xbox exclusive titles making their way to PlayStation and Nintendo Switch. Hi-Fi Rush being one of them. Sea of Thieves, according to Jeff Grubb, some insiders even pointed to there had been conversations around Halo Infinite going to PlayStation at one point. That obviously didn't happen. Again, these are
Enrique, a question for you.
Yeah.
I did not see the clip with Jeff Grubb. I've seen some people say the context of that clip is he was talking about talk that he heard about Sea of Thieves back when it launched, or a little bit after it launched. So this wasn't recent; it was years ago. Is that true, or was he talking about this was talk that he'd heard more recently?
My understanding it was recently. Steve Cotillo is reporting that reports from both Jeff Grubb and Steve Cotillo. It's been claimed that Microsoft's Sea of Thieves could be exploring new waters, meaning that it could be making its way to a PlayStation. Hi-Fi Rush could be another one. There's some other rumors that there could be some other Bethesda. Again, these are rumors, but there's some rumors out there. There could be some other Bethesda games that may make it to PlayStation that were once Xbox exclusive. So, Forte, you and I had we talked a lot about it. This particular conversation or topic this morning.
Yeah,
like no one should be surprised by this if this is true. Like no one should be surprised, and I'm surprised that people are surprised. I mean, they if you've been listening and paying attention to what Microsoft has been saying, they've been talking about bringing Xbox to where their consumers are, where their gamers are. They're having difficulty selling Xbox hardware. We know this based on their year-over-year growth numbers. They're trending negative with Xbox hardware sales, Xbox Series hardware sales. The Xbox's Series consoles is currently trending behind the Xbox One. So Phil has said, hey, we want to build communities of gamers on other platforms. The CFO, Tim Stewart, at the Wells Fargo conference talked about that said that Xbox will bring more of its games to other platforms too. That it's a change. That's a change of philosophy for us. And no, it's not just ABK. People are like, oh, he's just talking about ABK. He wasn't. There was two parts. If you listen to the live, there's actually a live recording of his commentary on the subject. It's two parts: ABK and Microsoft first party, and bringing their games to other platforms. So I don't. I look. I'm not saying that Xbox is getting out of the hardware business today, but what I am saying is that this news, the Sea of Thieves, or the conversation that's going around about Hi-Fi Rush going to PlayStation and Sea of Thieves going to other platforms. These things shouldn't be a surprise to anyone if you've been paying attention to what Microsoft's been telling you, what Phil Spencer's been telling you, and what Microsoft is as a company. They are a software as a services company. Microsoft's whole business model is selling software to consumers wherever consumers are. They're not in the business to build hardware and make hardware to get people to buy software on their hardware. That's what Sony's business model is, because Sony's a hardware manufacturer.
Then
So again,
why did they make an Xbox and support it for 2 decades if that's not what their business model is?
I'm sorry, what'd you say? I didn't hear that, Slimo. Why do they what?
Why did they make an Xbox?
Yeah.
And for 2 decades support an Xbox with that actual business model of we want you to buy the hardware so that you can then buy our software.
Because times change.
Well, you got to remember I agree with that, Forte. Times do change, but because they haven't performed well in the console space. But you got to remember if you remember the idea behind the Xbox was Bill Gates was concerned that Sony was going to take control of the living room with the PlayStation, and he wanted Windows in the living room. Essentially, what he wanted, and that's why they got into the console business. Now, obviously, things have changed.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
You guys remember what I said about them on Monday?
Yes,
right?
You refer to them as somebody who doesn't wash their hair or something. Yes, I remember that.
They're you were there, Forte.
I know. I just can't remember. I just still can't remember believe that you said that.
Yeah. Look, what I said is essentially that they are jumping out the window on this, and without actually doing the work necessary to make the platform viable. They don't do localization. They don't market outside of non-English territories. They don't make sure that their product is seen in stores that sell this kind of stuff. In Japan, there are Japanese Xbox fans who have put up videos trying to find the Xbox shelf, not section, shelf, in stores that are similar to like a Walmart or like a Best Buy over there. Like, you don't put the work in, and then you are shocked that you're not winning. You're just now really starting, well, not just now, but starting in 2018, which is pretty late in the game, they started to really invest in exclusive content instead of just simply relying on partners who they didn't own to bring that content. But that's great and all, but here we are, and you're just now starting to get the content from even the very early ones that you acquired in 2018 to start delivering their content, and you're already trying to put that content on other platforms, which frankly waters down your brand. It waters down the Xbox ecosystem. It's like,
but they started doing that back in 2015, though.
Yeah, we're putting it on PC, but PC is a different enough market where you can justify putting games on PC and saying, well, look, there are players here who would never ever buy a console. So the only way we will ever get them to engage in our content is to put it there. I mean, even Sony sees that at this point. The only person who doesn't see that is Nintendo. But to put your games on the Nintendo platform and the PlayStation platform, well, why are you even making hardware anymore anyway? If this is what you're going to do, why do you still make hardware? Because you're already telling the public that they don't need an Xbox. And if they don't need an Xbox, like, if I have a choice here, like sure, most people are choosing PlayStation. It's the more popular brand. It's the more popular product, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you decentivize anyone who is even putting you on an even platform with PlayStation by putting your games there, because all someone's going to say is, well, if I only have money for one, guaranteed I'm going to go get a PlayStation over an Xbox, because not only am I getting PlayStation games, but then eventually I'll get the Xbox games too. And so you're really not helping. Like if you think at all that this is going to do anything to bolster the Xbox brand, which maybe they don't care no more, and that's fine if they don't care anymore. But this is definitely not reversing any trends that they see there. And if it's not going to reverse the trends, it's going to make it even worse. Why do you still make an Xbox?
Okay, so the real question comes down to, they're going with their core competency now. Their core competency is software services. They're doubling down on what they know they can do well versus what they know they've been struggling with ever since the 6th generation. And some people, and the 6th generation was great. It was 7th generation, to say, not 6. But 7th generation was great with the 360. 84 million consoles sold. How many of those systems were sold because of people having red rings of death, and they had to sell extra systems to people? Maybe 3, 4, 5 million of them. Who knows? So you just got to kind of think about PlayStation. Literally they had a year head start on PlayStation, and PlayStation passed them at the end. Part of that has to do with the fact that I believe they just stopped making compelling games towards the end of the 360 generation. But the fact that the PlayStation brand still caught up to them lets you know that PlayStation is just such a strong brand that they're like, we're not going to compete with them going toe to toe. We have to do something different. And if we're going to do something different, we're going to do it on our terms. And if we're going to do it on our terms, that means this is going to be the thing that we're going to do, which is, services, software, things that we know we're good at, the things that I know I can sell Satya Nadella on, to tell him that these are the direction we're going to go to make sure that this actually happens, to make this more profitable. And that also makes it so Satya sees in a vision where he's willing to throw $70 billion down on Activision, $7 billion down on Bethesda, small acquisitions of other studios and stuff, because he sees the vision of the things that they want to do and get those games as many places as they can. Once they got the CEO on board, it made it almost impossible for Xbox to go back to where they were going to go from. Unless somebody else is the head of the CEO of Microsoft and they're willing to make a change like that, I think this is just the direction they're going to go in, and this is the direction they're going to die in if they're going to die. And I don't see that happening with the amount of money that they already put inside of the coffers behind Xbox at this point. They're gonna subsidize that thing as long as they possibly can. And I do agree the system is not the priority anymore. The priority, they're going to hold on to the people that want to play on console, the 50 to 60 million people that want to do that. And then once that dries up, they're going to discontinue the console. Once people don't find value in buying a piece of hardware anymore, they'll discontinue it. But until that happens, you're going to see the three-prong approach on mobile, PC, and console. And that's going to be the direction they move in. And then guess what? And then with them being a software company, they're going to put that software as many places as they can put it to subsidize what they're giving up by letting Xbox gamers get stuff day and date on the console and on the PC platform. That's kind of the thing that people got to just think about. They're using it to subsidize something. And if they can sell more games on PlayStation, they can sell more games on Nintendo, then that's what they're going to do to keep the Xbox gamer at the core and feel like they're still getting the value of those games being day and date. Because guess what? You're not getting games day and date on PlayStation. You're not going to get them day and date on Steam. You will if you play on the Windows Store, you will, because that's their product and that's their profit. But if you want to get those benefits of being an Xbox gamer, you have to buy inside of their ecosystem, which is a console, or inside of the Windows Store. And if you don't want to do that, fine. You'll just pay full price for games somewhere else. they'll subsidize that by giving other people the benefits of being on Xbox, and that'll be the way they operate until they don't see a value in doing it on console anymore.
And they're going to that not having a value, they're doing it on console. They are expediting that expiration date by these kind of moves, in my opinion. And I know there are people in the chat saying we're talking in absolutes, these are rumors. Sure, like we could go the legalese route of allegedly, allegedly these things will happen. Sure, you want to do that, that's fine. But I have talked to enough people who have information that this is not just a rumor thing,
right?
So
no, it's not. It really isn't. And I only say it's because I don't like until something's collaborated. I don't like say, oh, this is in fact happening. But I agree with what you just said, Slobo, because I've heard the same things too. And this is. But again, if you've been paying attention and really listening to what they're saying, and I think the issue is a lot of people have, for whatever reason, decided to, I guess, put their hands over their ears and close their eyes and not really think about what the CFO Tim Stewart said or what Phil Spencer's been saying. And instead, what they have done is they've listened to content creators who have said, "Oh no, it's games for everywhere is great," but then it's not great when it's going to the competitor's platform. It's funny you said something similar or Forte. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to confuse you. This morning, Forte, you said something that kind of really got me thinking a little bit. You said, some people forget the things they said,
they said 6 months ago.
Yeah. And it's like, you're right. Like the narrative was, oh, games everywhere is great. Now it's not.
Yeah.
now it's
not.
What do you mean? Like, how are they treating us like this? We bought the hardware.
I didn't mean that kind of everywhere,
Yeah. But that's what everywhere is too, though. And I think unfortunately people have decided to listen to their favorite Xbox centric content creator and have formulated this idea of what Xbox is doing based off this echo chamber instead of actually listening to what they're saying, what they're telling the consumer. And that is, we want to be everywhere. As Microsoft as a company, we want to bring our software everywhere. And when I said that their behavior is analogous to a third-party publisher, people are like, no. I'm like, no, actually it is. Because you don't see Sony, you don't see Nintendo. We don't hear these rumors about their first-party games going to competing platforms like Xbox or Nintendo, or Xbox and PlayStation for Nintendo. In Nintendo's case,
right.
Their message is very hardware-centric too. I say they, I mean Nintendo and PlayStation, because they're hardware companies. They're in the business of making a hardware platform that you need to buy their software. Very different approaches. I've said this. I don't know if you guys agree with this. I look at PlayStation and their approach to their business model is very Apple-esque in a lot of ways. And like what Apple does. Apple sells you, I don't have an Apple phone, but I think you have an iPhone, right, Forte?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, so what does Apple do, Forte? They sell you the phone. What else do they sell you? The earbuds, right?
The earbuds.
What else do they sell you?
The chargers.
Yeah, what else do they sell you?
The headphones.
Yeah. It's an ecosystem, right? To get you to get into their software. Very much what PlayStation is doing. And these are very different companies. And so we were discussing this morning, Forte. It's like, like when you asked me like what I thought about this, I'm like, because I wasn't surprised by any of this.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah, I'm not surprised by any of this. Yeah, Justin says then it snowballs into Mac, iPad, and watch. Very, very similar to what Sony's approach is. They're just two different companies that have two different ideas as it comes to gaming. Mm-hmm. And to your point, Slomo, like I don't know if I don't think they're gonna get rid of hardware anytime soon. But you brought this up, Forte, this morning that Tom Moore deleted that tweet where he said, I forget what he said, something about Sea of Thieves coming to PlayStation, and then he also put in, and with ARM and with their next Xbox based off of ARM architecture, that's all you need to know about their future. And I tell you what,
I remember seeing that. Yeah.
And I wonder if
I'm like, why did he delete? I'm just like, what's nothing egregious said in that tweet? Why did it have to be deleted?
I
somebody told him to delete that, and I'm assuming.
But he didn't say anything that everybody hasn't known for the last 4 years.
We know in the leaked document, and that's funny. We talked about this, Forte, like this morning too. Like people were like court beat reporters of this whole ABK thing, right? Reading through all the leaks. How do they miss the parts about Phil Spencer in conversations with Tim Sweeney, who's the head of Epic, where Phil's like, we have been trying to get Game Pass on PlayStation, Nintendo. They say no. And Tim Sweeney's like, hey, keep up the good fight,
Right.
Like, and how do they miss Microsoft's hardware team recommending ARM architecture to Phil Spencer for the next Xbox, which, by the way, Slow-Mo.
Oh, you know what? Okay, so look, that was in the leaked document about they had as of 2022, where that document that leaked out from the FTC case came out. They hadn't made their decision of whether they were going to go with ARM, or whether they were going to go still the more traditional route with AMD RDNA 5, I believe, that they thought they would be on by then. Maybe Tom Warren deleted that tweet because he definitively said that the next Xbox would be on ARM. Which means that would suggest that they had made their decision to go the ARM route, which that's information they definitely would not want public, because then now Sony can then think of how they want to do PS6 differently to kind of counter that. So like that's definitely probably why he deleted it, because he said in definitive terms that they were doing the ARM route.
Yeah, he said he didn't say they may be going ARM. He goes, next Xbox based on ARM architecture. That's all you need to know about their future.
Right, like that's very definitive. That's very much this is what they're doing, not what we saw before, which was a possibility.
And by the way, PlayStation could be guessing also because he saw the leaks. I mean that's fair, but then why? But what's curious about his tweet though, player, is he's saying what he said in that tweet was something that we all know. I say we all, but all of us who are on Twitter know. He didn't say anything that we didn't know. And I'm like, that's what he said. But okay, ARM architecture, that was in the leaked document. Them bringing their games to other platforms, we know that they've talked about that. What he said wasn't news. It wasn't. But I think again, and I'm going to be fair to our listeners here, because we're not saying for sure that that's why he did it. We're just speculating, spitballing here. But I agree with you, Slim. I maybe that's the reason why, for what you just mentioned, Slim, that he definitively said their next Xbox is going to be based on ARM architecture. And
I would say it doesn't mean that. So because that could be taken both ways. It doesn't mean that it is on ARM, but if he's wrong, he could have deleted it because he was wrong, and it's not on ARM.
Oh, maybe not.
So
that too,
to cover his own butt, so that he doesn't, he's not out there putting false information, because these guys care about their reputation. He could have deleted it because of that too.
Yeah.
So it could go either way. It doesn't definitely mean that the next Xbox is going to be ARM in 2026 or 2027, whenever that this is supposed to drop. But
Arthur,
I do think that part of it is definitely why he deleted it. But that's just my opinion.
Arthur once says, so it's a cloud thing. Yeah. So if it was ARM, it wouldn't surprise me, because for what Arthur just said, it's more cloud focused. It's more server side focused than than traditional console hardware, and it's probably something that's not going to yield you, I would imagine, I could be wrong, but ray tracing or anything like that. But if it was ARM, it would to me at least, it would align with kind of that cloud centric approach that they talk about, bringing games everywhere. Tearing down the barrier of entry to gaming.
I wouldn't say it I wouldn't say ray tracing wouldn't be a possibility. What's being possible with ray tracing right now, as ray tracing is getting easier to implement in games, and you're starting to see some developers even pushing it on consoles with no option to turn it off, which is kind of silly in this day and age. But who knows what's going to be possible another 4 years from now?
That's
As
true. That's a fair
technology
point.
continues to advance. I
That's
mean,
a fair
look,
point.
on I used to never play with ray tracing on PC, but after Nvidia dropped DLSS 3.5, that upscaler that uses the noisers to actually make sure that they can upscale ray traced assets as well. Yeah, if ray tracing is available, I have it on because it's not affecting my performance. And that's now in 2024. That I was doing that last year in 2023. Imagine what I'll be doing with even more powerful hardware or better software, really, because really it's about the software that is being deployed with Nvidia. I know AMD is not there. They suck at ray tracing, but they're behind Nvidia, but they do continue to improve. Who knows what's going to be available at that point in time? And the ARM architecture they're probably going to use is going to be AMD based, likely anyway. So
yeah, the one unfortunate narrative that's come about of the speculation or rumors that other more games are coming to Xbox exclusives are coming to other platforms. This narrative that the console market's shrinking, and it's like, no, the console market's not shrinking. Is the console market going to grow as much as mobile? No, for obvious reasons.
It's not shrinking, but it's not growing either.
But it's not growing leaps and bounds. Yeah, but
it's been pretty stagnant for a long time.
Yeah, it's static mostly. I mean, there's some growth. I mean, there's some new consumers, but yeah, is it booming like mobile? No. But to say that's why, or to suggest that it's shrinking, and that's what I'm seeing now. And again, it's like these things happen, and then everyone gets people are getting their talking points, and this is one of those talking points. Yeah, play. Actually, that's not true. It hasn't been stagnant since PS2. It's actually grown since PS2. If you look at the numbers for console gaming, and console gaming revenue accounts for about a third of total revenue in the gaming industry. Mobile being the biggest. Mobile counts for about 50% of the revenue in the gaming industry. So 50% mobile, 30% gaming console, 21% is PC, downloadable box PC games, and the other 1% is browser PC games. Okay, so that's the breakdown. If you look at the numbers, if you look at the revenue numbers for console games, that did increase by 2% year over year. Now, a lot of people say, "Oh, that sounds low." It's low, but also remember that the console gaming and gaming in general, we saw a big boom in revenue in gaming across the board, and console gaming as well during the pandemic. And obviously, there's going to be some right sizing because people are not on lockdown anymore and are able to go out and do things outside of gaming.
Yeah.
But again, to suggest that it's dying or it's in decline or shrinking, that's not true. The issue that Microsoft has had is they've had challenges capturing and takes your favorite word this morning, penetrating the console market. They couldn't make enough headway in the console market.
They couldn't penetrate it.
Yeah, that's what Forte is like. Yeah, they can't penetrate it. I'm like, yes. Okay.
It just maybe it's a size issue. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think that the console market is evolving. If you see what Nintendo's doing, where they kind of combine their handheld and their console side of things with Nintendo Switch, and that's extremely successful for them. I 100% believe that when it's all said and done, the Nintendo Switch will be the most sold piece of hardware
will be
in the console market history. it wouldn't surprise me if Xbox went ARM. It wouldn't surprise me if the next PlayStation was basically marketed as a all digital device with that detachable Blu-ray player as even less of an option. When I say less of an option, it's not. It's an additive thing. Like it's almost like an accessory. Like, oh, you want to use a disc here? You can just attach it onto the side. The way the PS5 is now, but they don't actually sell it as a package together, is what I mean. Like, this is, as the console market continues to grow and evolve, I think the way us older guys see video games and consoles is going to change. Like we've all had numerous times before about how our kids consume gaming content differently than we do. They use different devices to game. They're far more comfortable using touch controls on a phone and playing a game than we are. They're less concerned with using a controller. The games they play are different, and you see it pushing how the industry has changed. The most played games on all platforms are mostly usually the same games, and these are free-to-play games, kind of like a hybrid of what the mobile market does. You got free-to-play games that still generate more revenue than any other game out there because they hook people in on the free-to-play aspect. Hey, it was free to try. I tried it out. It didn't cost me anything. And then they get hooked on the gameplay. And then they start paying for... on mobile, you're paying mostly to keep playing. But in the console market, the version of that in the console market is the cosmetics, the skins, the emotes. For Fortnite, like big, huge, popular IP being brought into the game to entice people to buy that stuff. I mean, they just brought in the Ninja Turtles a few weeks ago. Everyone I know that plays Fortnite bought all 4 Ninja Turtles. It's just that money-making machine is the future. People don't like to hear that. And doesn't mean that single-player games are going away, right? That doesn't mean that we're still going to have single-player games. But the model of, and in PlayStation, even though they are fully engrossed in it, we saw what Insomniac's going to be doing for the next decade. We saw what they anticipate the budget's going to be, between $300 to $400 million per game. And we saw that. And yet we know what PlayStation would like to do because they invested in 12 games as a service, live service games. Because what they would like to do is have their own kind of Fortnite or Apex Legends. Not necessarily those games in gameplay, but those games in impact, or a Minecraft in impact. They want one of their games to be the most played game on their platform and not Call of Duty, Minecraft, Roblox, and Fortnite. And that is the changing of the market with the times. We hate to hear it, but we're outdated. And the kind of games that we like and enjoy, we continue to buy those games, and we spend a ton of money on gaming all year long. And yet, at the end of the day, what is going to be the most played games, the most sold games, and the most played games at the end of the year? Call of Duty, Madden, FIFA. It ain't going to be the games that we play. So it's just, it will continue to change. And will it change to the point where the console market starts to grow as quickly as the mobile market does? Probably not. Because as time goes on, you get kind of the older gamers that fall to the wayside and stop gaming, or they take they do like me and take their talents to PC. And then you get the newer gamers that'll come in and they'll pick up the consoles, but it's this younger generation, they're different. They're so different in how they consume content. They don't need a console. They actually kind of feel like to them consoles are archaic and kind of a hindrance. Like my son plays on PC. He likes the freedom of PC. My daughter plays a Nintendo Switch, and she has an Xbox Series S. She will play her Xbox Series S more than her Nintendo Switch, but she's always talking about how she wishes that she could play Roblox more when she's not at home. And that's not using the Xbox Series S. That's not using the Xbox anything. You know, that maybe xCloud, but what device are you using xCloud on? A phone, a handheld, PC handheld or something, right? Tablets. So it's just that's where it's going, because that's where the younger generation and the newer gamers that are entering into prime. I can now spend my own money in gaming. Every year there are more of them entering into the gaming market. And every year there's less of us being in it. So it's the way things are.
Yeah, that's an interesting conversation about like maybe where our kids might be playing games when they're our age. Maybe it's on different devices. Maybe
yeah, it could be.
Could be interesting. Some interesting stats that I just pulled up here.
What if a console? Just real quick. What if a console 15 years from now is like the size of like a Roku device? But what if that's what we consider to be consoles at that point?
Maybe like the Roku. Like I have a Roku. I forget what it's called.
Roku 4K.
Yeah, 4K. It's not the stick. It's the actual. Yeah, I had one of those. Interesting numbers on spend. Average spend in console gaming in U.S. dollars is $92 per person. That's more than PC, which is an average of $23, and mobile, which is an average of $50. Game Industry Biz had a report earlier this year where U.S. households with combined incomes of $100,000, of an average of $100,000, were driving the most hardware sales in the U.S. this year.
Because they can afford it.
Yeah, well, I think that's part of what we talk about. I think when you're talking about just console gaming. Console gaming is a very expensive hobby. I mean, it's not cheap. $500 for a piece of hardware, $70 for AAA games. How much are controllers these days? $70?
$70, yeah. It's getting more and more expensive.
Yeah, it's getting expensive, yeah.
You got this PC handhelds. Where do they fit in the market?
I think they might be classified as consoles as well, portable consoles.
Yeah,
I think
because they're still, even though you can kind of customize them a bit more, you can change and not like break terms and conditions. Like with a Steam Deck, you can do all kinds of stuff to a Steam Deck, and Valve's just like, go ahead, fine. Like we're not going to say you breach warranty or anything. But that said, it's still a device that you bought, and it's standardized. Everyone who buys that device has the exact same APU, the exact same different versions may have different storage, but your RAM is likely the same screen, the same, really everything. It's I would say closer to a console than a PC, although software wise and how it functions is still very much like a PC, because you could side load Windows if you want, side load Linux. You could emulate Nintendo games. There's a lot more that you can do with it than you can a console. It's just, I guess, how it is on sales. I just wonder how, how NPD tracks that.
Yeah, I'm looking up. I want to say I read something that they were talking about the Deloitte. Deloitte actually put Deloitte, which is one of the big four firms, had a they put out like market trends on gaming. They talked about diverse innovations and bolstering the console ecosystem. I'd have to go back and reread the article, but I believe, I could be wrong, I think that they had mentioned that the release of like console Mobic. Now I sound like Forte now. Like console mobile integration or console mobile platforms. So they're including that. So, but I'd have to go back and look. I'm not entirely sure.
Because they're not selling in like I think the most successful one is probably the Steam Deck, and that I think the last time I saw numbers for Steam Deck, it was like somewhere in the 3 million range. So that's still nowhere near like anything that we see with consoles or anything like that. That's like, it's not pushing anything, but yet at the same time, we are consistently seeing more companies jumping into that market and pushing a similar product that is already kind of out there. But most recently, we saw MSI with the Claw. That's the most recent one, and that's like an all Intel. Oh my god! Yeah, that's an all Intel device, which is probably the only thing that's really different about that one compared to the others. And they're expensive. Like the majority of them are more expensive than a console is. Like you can get a Xbox
that makes
Series
sense though. I mean, laptops are more expensive than consoles. They're more expensive than most PCs.
Yeah, but laptops can do. Yeah. I have to say, but laptops can do more. But I mean, these PC handhelds are basically PCs too.
But they're just more stripped down. I mean, just like you won't see like a laptop is the ultimate portability of your gaming. If you want to have the same gaming experience, you could do it on a laptop. It's just gonna cost you thousands of dollars to do it. Versus on a handheld, you're basically saying, I want to have a handheld experience for my PC games, but I want to have it in the small form factor, but I don't want to pay $2,000 for it.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, they're significantly more powerful than a Nintendo Switch is, and more than likely, based off of what I've been hearing, they'll still be more powerful than the Switch 2 or whatever the heck Nintendo wants to call this upgrade. Like they'll still be more powerful than that than Nintendo's new product, but
they just won't have the Nintendo games.
Yeah,
that's the thing.
Not officially.
Here's
unofficially.
Here's what I pulled up. Handheld game consoles are portable, or are portable handheld video. I can't even talk. Handheld game consoles or portable game consoles with a built-in screen and controls are generally classified as video game consoles, but that does not include PDA smartphones or tablet computers. So there you go.
So what's a backbone? I mean, so what's a PlayStation Portal?
An accessory.
What's a Portal?
They say
it's a console.
They say it's a console. Yeah. I don't get that.
And they counted as console sales.
Well, I think Sony does actually count that as console
on its own. Yeah, they Circona or whatever NPD is called now said that that's what it's going to be classified as a consoles. I mean, it's in its own category, but it's still not its own category. It's its own like line there. It's not going to be included in with a PlayStation 5, right? But it'll be a separate thing classified under consoles. That said, it's like I don't get that because it's a device that can't run anything on its own.
Native, yeah.
It's not like a PSP or a Vita or something.
They also haven't restocked that thing since Christmas, just to let everybody know.
Yeah.
I don't think they anticipated it was going to sell the way it did.
I mean, my whole thing is, why make something if you're going to make it for the holiday? Why won't you? I mean, I guess they did make as many as they possibly could make for the holiday, and they just don't have more.
Sold out. Yeah. Player. Yes, I remember the System Wars back in the day. No one was counting Nintendo back then. Look, I'm not going to base, whether Nintendo is part of the console industry based on what happened in console war forums. The reality is that Nintendo contributes to the console market. You can't exclude Nintendo from the conversation.
Are we trying to say Nintendo isn't a traditional console?
No,
what is it?
He's saying that.
So where does it go?
He's saying that Nintendo. He's trying to say that the console market hasn't grown. I'm like, that's not true. It has, and he's only counting PlayStation and Xbox, and it's come out some weird arbitrary.
There are people
reasons why Nintendo. He's like, oh, no third party support, and now he's going back to console wars, or they're not in the power narrative, and he brought up the FTC. I'm like, no. Those things set aside, the business, the industry realities, dynamics of the console market include Nintendo as a contributor to the console space, and they are counted as a hardware console.
I see more people at midnight launches for games for Nintendo than anybody else.
That's because there's an incentive to own.
That's
software.
That's the purpose. They have a value system to their system, which is a console that plays games, and people want to own and play those games. I mean, this is the thing that I try to tell people. 7th generation Xbox and PlayStation, that was probably the generation. No, it wasn't even probably. It was guaranteed to be the generation that Xbox and PlayStation, a lot of gamers that own PlayStations owned Xboxes too. They probably bought their Xbox first and they waited for the price of the PlayStation to come down, and they finally bought a PlayStation 3 towards the back half of the generation. Xbox benefited by coming out early. PlayStation screwed up by telling people to get another job. And so a lot of people had multiple consoles. Probably more people than anybody had multiple consoles back then. People that would never have an ultimate extra console in their house. But that happened that generation. But guess what? Nintendo still sold 100 million consoles that generation. Yeah, they sold them to grandmas and granddads and everybody like that, but they still sold them. And it was real. And then fast forward to last generation, PlayStation sold 120 something million consoles. Nintendo's like 135, probably close to 140 at this point now. And
they're closing in on the record.
On the record. And that's the thing. So we're trying to say a company that is going to most likely have the most successful console of all time is a part of this conversation. They are the conversation, because guess what? Everybody talks about, man, I would get a Switch if it was more powerful. If they could play the games the way that the other consoles could, I would play it. So make your mind up. Make your mind up. Are you just saying that because PlayStation and Xbox are your favorite platforms and Nintendo has nothing to do? Because I know there's people like that. There's nothing wrong with that. But don't try to make it seem and discount the people, the hundreds of millions of people that buy those platforms on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah, player. He says, I'm just saying, if you take out Nintendo console hardware, sales hasn't grown since PlayStation 2. If that's the most ridiculous argument. That's like saying, if I take Xbox, I mean, like, why would you make that argument? Like
it's like you can't take it out.
You can't take Nintendo console hardware sales. That's like saying, if I took all the NFL teams out of the NFL, the Commanders had a winning season at four. You know what I mean? Like you just can't. I just don't understand that. It's a very bad argument, extremely flawed. Think
about it like this. Even if you go back to that same generation. 100 million consoles sold, 87 million consoles sold, 84 million consoles sold, between 260 and 270 million consoles were sold during the 6th to 7th generation. Last generation, if you want to count the Switch as part of that generation, that's 130, we'll just say 130 million. Then you got 120 with the Switch, with PlayStation, that's a total of 260, and then you add the Xbox to that, which is 50. That's 280 million consoles. 290. So the cap that everybody's looking at is anywhere from 250 to 300. 300 million is the cap for, and that's with Nintendo having the most ridiculous console generation ever.
Yeah, and look, and I don't disagree with the argument that the console market is a specific addressable market that may not grow as much as mobile. But my point was that to say that it's shrinking is false, based on some of the numbers I just shared in terms of revenue, spend, things like it's still growing.
It's only one platform that's growing. Well, there's two. I think PC is still growing because more and more people are getting into PC than ever before. But I think mobile's the true giant when it comes to growth in gaming. Mobile's the number one, PC's number two, and then consoles. Because the thing is, as people grow up and they graduate, I'll say, to experiencing games on a PC on a platform where there are no limits. You're not afraid of all of the hoops you got to kind of jump through to get your stuff going, which isn't as bad now as it was even 5 years ago. Once a person decides to do that, then people kind of start shifting over to being more of a PC gamer. That doesn't take away from the fact that they'll still want to own consoles, but it's the simple fact that people look at the value of it. It's like, okay, if I'm going to spend, it definitely depends.
Yeah.
It definitely depends because everybody's different.
Gamers that don't engage in consoles whatsoever
at all. And those people have been on PC
Nintendo
forever.
games. Well, no, some of them are just getting in there. Like, look, when you can emulate all the Nintendo games, when you get all the Xbox games day and date, and now you're starting to get games live service PlayStation games day and date, and the single player ones after a year or two, you really don't need consoles.
Yeah,
because you get all the same games they get. Maybe with the PlayStation single player stuff, that's the only thing that's really like you gotta wait for it. But you can emulate all the Nintendo stuff. You get everything Xbox gets on the console, and you're getting a significant portion of the PlayStation stuff at launch now too. You really don't need a console when you have a PC at that point. Now, granted, it's not a large population of the PC gaming community that's doing all that. The biggest demographic of the PC gaming population doesn't care about consoles because they don't care about the games there.
Right.
They play CSGO, Valorant, League of Legends, World of Warcraft, games that aren't on consoles, and they're very different. And those games, the majority of them wouldn't sell great on consoles either. It's a different demographic. But I say all that to say that the people who are moving, I think there is like the people like myself and you and Enrique who were at one point console only guys who now primarily play their games on PC. That's a growing population of people, which is the reason why you kind of see Sony getting in there and trying to do double dipping when they see people who will buy it on PlayStation at launch and then buy the game again with the I would say the definitive edition on PC that comes out a year or two later.
Right.
It's the PC market is growing in that aspect too. And I think when console players leave the console market, console players are more going to the PC market than mobile. Like mobile is getting new gamers in large portions. But the PC market and console market they play different games. They play different games from one another, and they definitely play different games from mobile. So it's kind of hard to really like narrow it all down. But anyway, go ahead and continue. My bad.
No, you're good.
Now, I always joke around that say PC is the best place to play video games, but and I'd be interested to see the numbers, Slomo, like to see what that trend looks like. That and there may have been something I think recently that showed that there's more growth on PC. Recently, I'd have to go back and look, but to your point, like at least like with some of the circles that I run with, I'm seeing more people move to PC this generation than I did last gen. I'm not saying that's everywhere, but that's just something that I've seen with some of the people that I've talked to, or that play games. And I have coworkers that are looking at PC now as an option, because more console games are coming to PC, and PC offers that level of flexibility. One thing too, Slomo, do we have to pay? Do we have to pay to play online on PC?
Nope.
Yeah,
Nope.
It's another.
I just think
that's I see a lot of console guys increasingly speaking up about that and not being happy about that.
Yeah, I get it. I understand.
But that's not going to change either, because the amount of revenue generated by these console platforms, by subscription services where they are paywalling, playing paid multiplayer games online. They're not giving up that revenue. That's a lot of revenue. And they also know when they put those games on PC, a surefire way to make sure your game is a failure at launch is to try to treat a PC gamer like a console gamer.
Yeah.
They will make an example of you.
There's a lot of options on PC. There's a lot of options of PC to take your business elsewhere.
Right.
Yeah, and they'll definitely let you know too. Yeah, that's for sure. But by the way, we have like 132 people watching, only 28 likes. Please hit that like button. Helps the channel out. Really appreciate the support. But do want to wrap up the show. Want to give big shout out to everyone in the live chat. Thank you so much for coming out and hanging out with us this evening. Appreciate it again as always. And big shout out to Gaming Forte and Slomo, and big shout out to B Money and Game Logic, who couldn't be here tonight. And I was hoping B Money would be here. I wanted to question him about the Chicago Bears, see if they're going to draft Caleb Williams, but maybe that's a topic for next week. But no, big shout out to those two, and then Forte and Slomo as well. Now, you guys have a show tomorrow, 9 p.m. Eastern Time, DPS. Whose channel is it on tomorrow night? Or which channel is it on tomorrow?
It is on the DPS channel and my channel. So definitely come through 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to get into a few things, discuss some stuff with, you'll come see. And we got a little bit different topics than what everyone's been talking about this week. But it's going to be a good time as usual.
Yeah, no, you guys always have a great show. So please definitely check out Damage Per Second Podcast, DPS, tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. And we'll be back next Wednesday. I may do a rant on Friday, now that there's no more Crossfire Friday. And by the way, if you do listen to Crossfire, Mooch is live tomorrow at 7 p.m. He's moved the show to 7 p.m. So I probably won't be there tomorrow. As I mentioned earlier in the show, somebody asked me in the live chat if I was going to be there, but that's Thursdays are kind of tough for me. So, but yeah, I may do a rant on Friday, but or maybe this weekend. I know I was talking to David Falke. He was interested in coming back on the show, so he may do something this weekend. But just give me a follow on the Twitters at Brap_podcast. And gentlemen, I don't know if you want to be followed, let everyone know they can find you on social media as well. I meant to ask you that, Forte and Slomo.
You can find us, well, you can find me, Gaming Forte, YouTube, Twitter, Xbox Live, PlayStation. Put out a video a couple days ago talking about the whole Hellblade thing and mock reviews. Check that out. The video's doing really, really well. Appreciate all the love and support on that one. Got another video coming out tomorrow, so make sure you subscribe to the channel for that. And with that, you guys have a great week, and we'll see you guys tomorrow.
All right, Slomo, if you want to be found, let me know where they can find you as well.
Slow-mo backslap on everything, and there you
everything.
Go.
That's my word.
On everything.
That's my word. AKA King KD. Look, if you're interested in winning some games online, you need to team up with Slow-Mo. I'm just
That
saying.
is true.
You'll get a lot of W's, and you'll hear that evil laugh of his.
I don't know about W's, but
Slow-Mo,
it'll be a good time.
I've gotten plenty of W's with you on Fortnite.
Yeah, I can see it. Yeah, sure.
I mean, I think we went like on a 3-game winning streak one time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, recently I went on a 5-game winning streak with Cat Daddy Lurk, and I think it was Winter Soldier. You guys know who Winter Soldier is, right?
Yeah,
in the chats every now and then.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
He just joined randomly, and we have a process in Fortnite now. I don't know, but it's got you gotta have a squad with you in order to really run it. You can't do it solo, but yeah, you get a team, and yeah, we can run off some wins real easy.
Yeah, no, definitely. I haven't played with you guys in a long time. I need to get back on Fortnite. Maybe that's the game that gets me back off of Baldur's Gate 3, but we shall see. But yeah, thank you everyone for watching. Again, check out DPS tomorrow night. Again, may do a Brap rant this weekend. Again, follow me on Twitter at Brap_podcast. And if you haven't done so, hit that like button and subscribe. Hit the bell notification so you're alerted when we go live. Thank you again, everyone. Have a great evening. We'll catch you next time.